Hello everyone, welcome to 3ddesignacademy.com. In this lesson, we will continue with part 7 of the body side of Lexus LF-30 concept car. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually put a fillet over here. I think this side looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete some of these and I'm going to put the fillet on the top side. So before I proceed, let me just untrim these two because I know that I put a fillet over here, that's why I needed to trimmed, but I'm going to put also another fillet going through this way, and I'm just going to blend it out. So let's go ahead and just untrim these over here, and I'm just going to delete the COS like this, and all these curves I don't really need, so I'm just going to hide them over here. Okay, so obviously this is going to be a white fillet. That's going to be a little bit more complicated just because of the shape, but let's go ahead and do it. So this one, I believe I used 50 and 140 for quarter length. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide it so that I have some kind of reference. And let's go ahead and delete. Well, I'm not going to delete that. I think I'm just going to keep it. All right, and let's go ahead and put a fillet over here. So I'm going to set it up for chord, it's going to be G2, and for the quarter length, I'm going to set it up for 50 for now, and for everything else, I'm just going to leave it at default. And of course, I do need variable fillet on, so let's grab these surfaces over here. Make sure the direction is good, and let's see what kind of fillet I get. Okay, so that's not too bad. I did set it up for 50, but I'll probably make it a little bit bigger. I don't know. We'll have to see. Now, that said, however, I did set this one apparently to 140, so let's take a look. Okay, so that's what I have right now, which doesn't look too bad, but I'm not sure if I really like the small piece over here, but I guess that's okay. Yeah, maybe I'll just continue with that. However, I think I'm probably going to make this a little bit bigger. Actually, you know what? That really depends on the size. So let's take a look at the picture. It is, to be honest, a little bit small. Oh, let's do that. Yeah, you know what? Let's just keep it as is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it a 50 again. Because it does become a little bit smaller as it goes towards this side. However, I am going to make sure to set Bezier because this CV structure over here, that's quite critical. Actually, you know what? If I'm doing, well, I could probably just make this a slightly bigger and just eliminate this patch over here, but I guess it's okay. I don't think it's really necessary. Yeah, so let's just continue. Okay, so the second thing I'm going to do is, let's see, this patch over here. Now, that did disappear, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to untrim this one over here so that I can get a curve on this side. So I'm just going to duplicate this one. So I'm going to say duplicate, go to the side view, and I'm just going to align it over here like this. And I'm just going to do a little bit of rotation like this in order to make this fillet over here. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a degree 2 curve like this. And I am going to make it a degree 2. I'm just going to align it over here like that. Okay, so basically that tells me where the projection of this these two CVs should be. I think it's pretty close. So that's good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to align this piece over here onto the COS or the edge of the surface over here. So turning on process display, it did go up a little bit, but it looks pretty close. However, because of the translation here, I'm just going to turn on blending. It's going to extra CV rows of 3, blend factor will be 0. Or if this rotation, with this rotation, you can always pull it up a little bit more, in which case you can do like -1 in like this to make the rear go up a little bit more. But I think 0 is fine, so I'm just going to leave it. All right, so now that's done, let's go ahead and delete the construction history over here. And actually, you know what? I'm wondering, this curve over here, well, it doesn't really fit, so maybe I'll just leave it. Okay, that's it. However, let's go ahead and fill this patch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab these three surfaces and I'm going to project. And there's going to be several patches over here. So at least these two, I'm pretty sure I can just do a freeform blend. This one is going to be a little bit more complicated. So let's take a look. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, let's make this one over here. So I'm just going to grab a COS like the, or not COS, grab a curve. And let's just actually make this a degree 2. I'm going to make this a degree 2. Let's make that a degree 2 like this. And I'm just going to align this one. I'm going to say G2 blending will need to be turned off. And as you can see, it's going in a little bit weird direction, which I don't like. It's actually starting to curl onto itself. So what I'm going to do is, let's see. Well, I can move always, oops, I can always move the CV up like that so that the blend continues over here. But I'm not sure if I'm really a fan of this shape. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably patch this up to here. This creates a little bit of a dilemma. Well, let's take a look. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to skew this a little bit like this. Now, it would be ideal if I could just make this straight up and down or align to this, but obviously it's not. It's not giving the best shape. So let's try this and see if this works. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to grab a freeform blend over here. And I'm just going to align position to this one. Of course, it looks like it does create some spans. For clean, I'll just do a COS over here. Or connect ends, I should say. And let's take a look. Highlight actually looks pretty good. Oh, actually, that shouldn't be tangent. It should be position like that. And that should, oh, wrong side. So side 1 should be curvature. Side 2 should be position. And it should create a little peak. Now, the only problem is you'll see that there is a little bit of reversal. Now, for this one, technically, it should point sort of, well, let's see. Modify range, it should point this way and it should create a peak like this. However, I'm going to see if just having it like this is okay. Because at the end of the day, I'm just going to blend these out and it's going to be a pretty decent sized fillet. So even though there is a little reversal in the direction, I'm hoping that it's not going to create too much problem. Well, we'll take a look. All right, so what I'm going to do is, so first of all, explicit control, looks like that doesn't really reduce the spans. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to align, and I'm just going to align, oh, wrong stuff. So I'm just going to align this one over here. I'm going to say edge over here. Oh, no, not edge. I'm just going to leave it as skew. And let's take a look. Yeah, I think that's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and increase the position influence to max, and I'm going to reduce the spans to 1. And there we go, that's much cleaner. And I'm going to just make sure that this is positional as well. So let's just make sure everything looks good. The CV structure, I think, looks pretty decent. However, I do see a little bit of turn over here. So let's see if square makes it any different. So I'm just going to do a square. It is going to be 3 degrees over here. Yep, that looks good. However, 1 is going to be just position like that. Delete the original. I think the CV structure is a little bit cleaned up compared to before. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this in over here. Now, since I'm already doing this, I'm wondering if it might be just worth it to just use the stretch tool over here and just make it a square patch like this. So let's give that a go. So I'm just going to trim this one over here. Oh, I need to see what's there. There we go. And I'm going to trim this one over here like this. And I'm going to delete the curve. I'm just going to do a square. So it's going to be 1, 2, oh, that's why. Okay, so you'll see that this COS is over here. I think I'm just going to extend it. Hopefully it's okay. However, that might mean that I have to redo this one. So let's go ahead and trim this one over here, and I'm going to untrim this one over here, and I'm going to restrike the COS over here. So let's drag that down. I'm going to project like that, and I'm going to trim this one over here like that, and I'm just going to do a square. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so for this one, 4 is going to be curvature, and I'm just going to match everything over here. And obviously, you'll see that it's a failing position to continue over here. So I'm just going to increase the degree on this side and see if I can get it. And looks like I was able to. Now, as far as this one goes, I'm going to leave it neutral for now, just position. But it looks like there is a little bit of continuity issue. It is 1.0, which means I'll probably due to the flatness of the surface. Although this one, I shouldn't really have that. At least I don't think. So let's go ahead and see if Align can get this to line up. So I'm just going to grab this one. I'm going to say Align, position influence set to max. And you see that there is a 1.0 over here, but all the other combs are gone. So I'm guessing this is probably Alias measurement error. However, I can always try to hand manipulate this and see if I can get it. There was a, I think, oh, there we go. Yeah, that's definitely, I think that's definitely an error. All right, this one, however, it looks like it's actually failing position here. So let's see if I can get that to line up. So I'm going to grab positional align. It's going to position. There we go. And that looks pretty good. Now, the most critical area in this one is just having a fillet that continues on nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. Ideally, you'll probably don't want a peak that reverses from a peak to a reverse peak like this or a baby butt. But, well, let's take a look. So I'm going to try and see if I blend this, it's going to look okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a tubular offset here. Let's see, I'm going to do 30, 40, maybe something like that. Actually, you know what? Let's do chain select. And I'm going to say 40 over here. And now I'm just going to intersect over here and here. Now I'll probably make this a little bit bigger for the final one, but I just need to know, I just need to find out if this is going to work. Obviously, it looks like this one isn't working. So let's just make this a degree 2, delete the COS, just extend it like that. And I'm going to project again. I'm going to trim over here, trim, trim, trim. All right, that looks good. And let's go ahead and do a freeform blend. I'm going to pick these ones. Oh, looks like there is a continuity issue. So for this one, I'm just going to separate into 2 pieces. It doesn't really matter if it's continuous or not, because I'm just trying to do a test run. Okay, so this one, edge align should probably give me a better result. However, let's just make sure that it's curvature on both sides. And I'm going to make sure that it's curvature on both sides over here also. Now this one, you can, looks like connect ends is giving me a better CV structure. Although I'm not sure if it's the best. Well, let's take a look at the highlight. Highlight's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. It's creating a little bit of that. So let's try this. I'm going to save this as a whip. So I'm just going to copy and paste, delete the construction history, create a new layer, and I'm just going to call this whip 3. I'm just going to put it like that, and cover height layer, I'm just going to put it over here. And this one, I'm just going to put it over here also. Now, you see that there is a little bit of a, it's not, highlight's not horrible. It's just, I'm wondering if I don't have a reverse peak like that, I'm wondering if it's going to create a better shape or better highlight. So let's do a quick run and see if it's going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a connect ends over here, and I think I'm just going to connect it over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say side 1 is going to be curvature, side 2 over here is going to be position, and I'm just going to take a look. Oh, reverse. So this side needs to be curvature, and this is going to be position over here. Now the only problem is because I'm actually aligning this one to over here, it looks like it's creating a little bit of funny shape. So let's see if I can just move it up a little bit and see if that's better. Okay, so it's not great, but oh, that's actually really, that is not a desirable condition because it's aligning to that and it's creating a little puff over here. I don't think that's really natural because it technically has to be curvature over here because this is also curvature. Now that said, however, I'm seeing a little bit of kink. So let's get rid of that. And I'm just going to project this from Y. Let's do that. Okay, so highlight over there is good. Now I do need this to be curvature over here. So let's see if that'll work. So I'm just going to align curvature over here. So slight reversal. But overall, I feel like it looks a little bit better. So I'm going to put curvature here, partial. Okay, so it looks like I probably have to toggle around between the two. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it a tangent over here. Now, obviously, this is not a natural flowing because it's got a little break, but it shouldn't be too bad. So I'm just going to try and see if I can hand manipulate this a little bit. Actually, you know what? This is good enough. I don't think I really need to match it. Obviously, it's failing tangency over here. All right, so not an ideal situation, but at least I can try to see if which highlight is going to give me a better result. I think this one is actually going to give me a better result, but let's check it out. So what I'm going to do is, well, actually, I'm going to turn the chain select off. I'm just going to do a tubular offset over here and here. And let's make this 40. Like that. And I'm just going to trim this one and this one, this one, this one. And now let's go ahead and do a freeform blend between the two. So it's just going to be curvature on, oh, there we go. Curvature, curvature, curvature. Oh, looks like it doesn't connect curvature. So I'm just going to connect it like this over here. And I'm going to pick this one and pick this one. Let's see. Why won't you let me pick it? That is really weird. Okay, well, that's okay. I'm just going to say connect ends. Just going to snap it over here. That's really weird. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to... Actually, you know what? Let's just delete this one because I'm just trying to do a test run. I think freeform blend over here is good. That's, I think, looks much better. So what I can do is I can just put these into a new layer. I'm just going to hide it and I can just compare the highlight between the two. This one creates a little kink. This one definitely fixes that. Now, in order to improve on this one over here, I think I probably would have to make the filler a lot bigger. But it looks like this one works a lot better. It gives me a lot smoother highlight, which looks like the car over here. So I would say this is the one to use, which is kind of a shame because I think this one is going to require a little bit of work. But let's try to make that a little bit better. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to connect these two. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get these out into the default layer. I'm going to delete everything else. All right. So this is not going to be the final surface because it's a little bit messy. It's got a few spans. So let's go ahead and untrim this one, untrim this one, this one, this one. And I'm just going to delete the COS over here. And I'm going to try to work on this one. Now, for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the merge off, extend, and I'm going to just extend it up to this point like this. And what I'm going to do is do another extend and spread it apart over here. This one is actually going this way, so that's probably not the best one to use, but let's fill this up over here. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I do need to align this one. Actually, you know what? Let's do a trim convert first. So I'm going to grab this surface over here. No, this one. And I'm just going to project it over here like that. It's going to be normal. And I'm just going to trim convert. If it would actually pick it. There we go. Now, the reason why I do a trim convert instead, the reason why I do an extend and do a trim convert is because it creates a natural progression of the surface. So it's going to be a lot easier to align this one over here. So if you look at this one, because it's an extend, it's going to be curvature. Of course, I'm going to do some manipulation here, so that might throw it off, but at least it gives me a very good start. All right, so now that's done. Let's go ahead and I'm going to, okay, so it looks like COS is already there. So I'm just going to align. I'm going to grab this one, to grab the COS over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little bit of blending, 1 and 2 and 3. And for the blend factor, I can probably just do 1. All right, and now I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. And of course, this is floating like this. So let's go ahead and align this one over here on this edge. And this one is going to be position. And I'm going to do a little bit of positional blending in order to make sure that the transition is a little bit smoother. Now for this one, you just want to do extra rows or extra CV rows of 2 because this is responsible for the curvature. And as you can see, it gives me a nice curve, retains a nice curvature without me having to do a lot. It's curvature over here and everything looks good. All right, so let's check the highlight. Highlight looks nice. So now the only thing I have to do is align this one to here. However, I'm a little bit cautious because this is just a freeform blend, so it doesn't really have the gesture of this one. So I might need to do a little bit of finesse. But let's take a look. Okay, so for this one, of course, I can use a square. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this into a degree 5. And let's take a look at the highlight. If you look at the highlight, it actually flows really nicely from here to here. So I would say that's a pass right there. Now I didn't even put this into curvature. So 1 is going to be curvature. Oh, actually, I wonder if that ruins it. That actually, I think it does. So what I might have to do is do a little bit of manipulation here. So let's do this. First of all, I'm going to do a collinear. 1 is going to be curvature, and as you can see, the CV structure starts to go down over here. So it's probably a good idea to do another extend on this one and make this a degree 5. So let's give that a go. But highlight wise, it's actually not too bad. There is actually not a lot of kink, which means I probably have to just do a little bit of massaging over here. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn merge on. I'm going to extend it over here. Of course, actually, you know what? If the CV structure is going all over the place like this, that probably isn't the best idea. So let's do something a little bit different. I'm just going to do a rail. I'm just going to do a COS over here. I'm going to say curve segments on, snap it over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little, actually, you know what? Let's set the rail 1 to curvature. I don't know if this is going to really work. I'll set 1 to curvature. Actually, I really only need to extract the curve. So let me see if I can do this. I am going to just snap a curve over here, snap it here, and I'm just going to make it a degree 3. Like this. I'm just going to snap it over here. It's going to be G2. And I'm just going to say auto scale G2 on so that I can just manipulate the whole thing at once. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a square over here. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here. Okay, so I've set both to curvature, and I'm just going to see if this works a little bit better. And as you can see, I think the highlight is flowing nicely. The CV structure is a little bit better. I think the progression overall is pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push this one out just a little bit more. I think that's pretty good. I think the CV flow is pretty good. So this is what I'm going to be using in order to align here. So let's just go ahead and delete that. Actually, you know what? Just in case, let's keep it. I'm going to just hide over there. This one I'm going to delete. And let's go ahead and do a square. I think this patch should be okay because it's actually really close to being flat. So again, I'm just going to blend all of these. So it's going to 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there it is. That looks pretty nice. So I got curvature there, curvature here. Everything looks good. The only problem is it's failing position a little bit there. So I'm going to see what I can do in order to get that resolved. So it's curvature here, curvature here, curvature here. So failing position a little bit here. Pick locator. Let me delete that. Okay. So let's just go ahead and align. I'm going to align position over here. That does ruin the tangency over here. Let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, well, I just need to align this side and this side. So let's just go ahead and delete the construction history just a tiny little bit. So what I could do is I can just move the CV around this way. Oh, that's starting to fail. Positional continue over here. So let's see if I can just touch this a little bit without ruining the continue over here. So you know what? I'm actually going to make this a degree 5 since everything else is degree 5. I mean, the shape is pretty good. So let's see if I can get the continuity over here. There we go. It's curvature there. And let's see if it's still failing curvature on both sides. So let's see if I can get that to work. So I'm just going to say curvature over here. It's failing position. And I'm just going to see if I can get curvature over here. It's failing tangency now. So basically, because of the shape over here, it's playing a little seesaw, which is kind of annoying. I'm just going to make sure that it's curvature over here. Yeah, it's curvature here. It's probably due to the shape. So let's go ahead and align this again. Obviously, it's failing position. I'm going to say vector so that it's at least positional. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to align this tangent over here. It's ruining curvature over here. So let's delete the construction history. Delete the locator. It's failing curvature either way. All right, so let's see if I can match this up. So looks like it's getting better on one side, but not the other. Just going to try avoid failing tangency over here. Of course, as soon as I do this, it looks like it's starting to get ruined over here. So you know what? Unfortunately, I think I'm just going to leave it. Yeah. I mean, highlight looks pretty good. I think it's just going to be a lot of work to try to get this to work. So I think I'm just going to leave it. However, it does need to be positioned over here. So let's go ahead and grab this one. Make sure that it's at least positional. And for this one, it's ruining tangency. So let's go ahead and try to make this fit. There we go. So at least I got that one. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult to get this get this one to work. So unfortunately, I think I'm just going to leave it. But everything else looks pretty good. So pretty happy with the result. So I'm going to go ahead and grab everything. And I'm just going to delete the construction history. And let's check out the highlight. That's flowing very nicely. This one looks pretty good. Once the fillet is on there, it should be a nice smooth transition. So probably in the next one, I'll probably try to do this one over here, and I'll try to do a Y fillet, and that's going to be a nice transition and on the bottom too. All right, so pretty good progress. Still a lot to do, but it's definitely getting there, and I think the highlight is looking good, so pretty happy with that. All right, so that is it for part 7. We will continue with this in the next tutorial, and thank you guys for watching. Want to learn more? Then become a member at 3ddesignacademy.com, where you will find hundreds of video tutorials ranging from basics, including car creations, intermediate level tutorials such as this wheel, all the way to Class A modeling of the entire car exterior. Interested? Visit 3ddesignacademy.com.